Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another morning work commute. And I got a bit of an interesting subject because a lot of people have been asking why some bikes come under different names, and I want to discuss how brands sell their bikes, especially Chinese brands. This is very common with Chinese brands where you will find a bike under a lot of different names. As you can see, this morning we are riding Fred, my Zontes 350, into work. We got about a 20-minute commute. And I kind of switch it up between Fred and Donnie. And give them both a little bit of riding. I need to clean my mirrors and my windscreen. They are a little bit foggy. But I'm not going to do it now. We're going to get to work first. There we go. Right, so like I was saying, a lot of Chinese manufacturers sell their bikes in Europe under all kinds of different brands, different names. Their names differ in Europe from the ones in Asia. The problem is all about branding. The best example I can think now in my head, apart from little scooters that come under 100 different names, but like a big proper bike that could be sold under its own name but got sold under 100 different names, is the Kove 500X. Even us in the showroom, we've had it for years. And it was called the Daytona Maverick 500. If we go to the Czech Republic, then it's called the Java RVM 500. If you go to Spain, it's the Macbor Montana. I think it's in the Philippines, it's the Hunter Maverick. In China, it's the Kove 500X. So a lot of different names for the same motorcycle. And why is that? Well, like I've said, it's all about branding, and it's all about brand perception. The problem basically is you, the customer. You guys are the problem, because you do not trust new brands. You have no idea what they are, especially in the motorcycle world. We have our people that love the American hogs, Harley, and Harley is the best no matter what. People that love the European stuff, and KTM, Ducati, Aprilia, BMW, Triumph, they are the best, and even those camps are fighting against each other which one is the actual best. And then you have the people that will praise the Japanese bikes like they're the best thing since sliced bread. Newsflash, the big four Japanese manufacturers barely build any models in Japan. A lot of them are built in Southeast Asia, in the Philippines, in Vietnam, in Taiwan, in China. Yes, your Yamaha, your Honda, your Suzuki, your Kawasaki might actually be built somewhere else than Japan. Have a look at your VIN number to be sure what country it is built in. Use a VIN decoder. As a quick reference, if it starts with an R, it's probably built in Taiwan. If it starts with an L, it's built in China. But a lot of people are very, how should I call it? They think if something is made in China, that it's instantly of very poor quality and it's going to be unreliable. If a bike or a scooter or moped or whatever on the bone is built in China, it's probably going to be crap. And that is a little bit of the Chinese fault, because in the 90s here in Europe, a lot of very cheap, unreliable, poorly built scooters were brought in from China. And they kind of made a name for themselves for having crappy, unreliable, badly built products. So people steer away from these brands. So when you have an actual proper motorcycle or scooter that's well built from a Chinese manufacturer that wants to get into the European market, if they don't have a name, if they haven't made a name for themselves here in Europe, then it's just easier if you already have a brand. You take their product, you vet it, you test it for a couple of months, see if it lives up to current European standards of quality and reliability and the parts availability. and then you put it under your brand. That is how, at least what we work here in the show, at least what we work with here in the showroom, the Daytona brand, which is made in Greece by the Gorgolis company. They invented the Daytona brand. I think at first they manufactured Cubs in Greece, like somewhere in the 50s or in the 60s, but some of my Greek followers can correct me on that down in the comments below. But now basically the Daytona brand is a brand that incorporates a lot of different manufacturers from China, and helps the customer understand when they get a motorcycle or a scooter what kind of experience they're gonna have in terms of reliability, in terms of serviceability, in terms of parts availability, and in terms of cost. Because over there in Greece, when let's say another Chinese company contacts them and said, "Hey, we got a couple, 2-3 models of scooters that we want to send you guys to sell in Europe. We think they would do very well in Europe." Before they say yes, they get a couple of units in and they test ride them and they analyze them. Their techs go through them and see what kind of quality parts are in them. Is it good quality? Is it bad quality? How is the fit and finish of the vehicle? How's the reliability? How does it handle abuse? And if a vehicle passes the Daytona brand standard limit, then it will go on sale. They will start importing it and it will go on sale. Thing is, if you put on sale something that's, I don't know, manufacturer Jing of Shenzhen, China, then the customer is gonna be, what the hell is that? Oh no, it's a very good scooter. Yeah, I don't believe you, because it's not a brand they recognize. So if you vetted the product and if you know it's good, as an importer, it's much more easier to already have a brand created that your audience, your customers understand, and you just take that product and put it under the umbrella of said brand. Like currently under the Daytona brand are, I think, 4 or 5 manufacturers. Kove is trying to pull itself out of the Daytona umbrella here in southeastern Europe, because now they have gone a little bit mainstream with participating in Dakar and launching in the US. We also have a couple of different units from Kove. We have the 450 Rally and the 800X Pro to sit right next to the 500X. All 3 awesome bikes. I'll try to go through them at some point, although they are not my specialty. I mean, the 450 Rally is a beast compared to my riding abilities, so I can't get not even 10% out of that thing. That bike needs a proper rider. So I digress. So currently under the Daytona brand there are 4 or 5 manufacturers, one of them being Dayang. And you just saw a video of me reviewing the little DY Moto 125, the Winner 125, but there are more manufacturers under that umbrella. So Dayang doesn't mean Daytona, Daytona doesn't mean only Dayang. But the other manufacturers that are under this umbrella, like Zontes, like Kove was up until now, and a few more with little cheap scooters, they all offer just about the same quality, the same level of quality, the same level of parts availability, the same level of reliability. And it's easy for a customer to understand when he's buying a Daytona what he's buying, instead of trying to explain to him that it's actually good, the brand name, even though you've never heard of it, it's some very big company in China that has been building motorcycles and scooters for like 50 years. People don't care for that. They want to be familiar with a brand. But the problem is, when you do this as an importer, when you create a brand that you put different manufacturers under the same umbrella, you have to be really, really, really careful what vehicles you put under that brand, and you really have to properly test them and vet them properly, because it's very easy to have your brand name and your brand loyalty ruined by one unit. The internet is now alive. A lot of people are on the internet, are talking about their experiences with different vehicles, and it doesn't take a lot to ruin the image of a brand. Just a couple of bad units and a couple of bad experiences, and people will start losing trust in your brand. And once you lose trust in once people lose trust in your brand, especially if it's a low cost brand, then that's not a good thing. It's very hard to get that back. Now let's try to make our way through traffic. It is a little bit tight here, but at least Fred's got the power and the punch to go for the small gaps in the road. And yeah, this is a street I take every single day. It's always like this. People don't know how to position their cars, especially because this lane turns into a left-hand lane and then another lane appears to the right, and people try to scoot on over because most of them are going forward, they're not turning left. And I know what you're gonna say. I know what I'm doing right now. I know it's not exactly perfectly legal, but I am going for the little gaps. I can see the cars coming in front. I'm watching out for people coming out of between the cars, and we've made it safely up to the front. See? No harm, no foul. Green, punch it. So, like I was saying, it's very easy for your brand to be diluted, your brand image to be ruined, your trust of your public, of your customers in your brand to be gone. And once you lose that, it's very hard to get it back. It can be brought back with a couple of very good units, but that usually means lowering your profit margins. And yes, I know companies have profit margins and you, the consumer, hate profit margins, but hey, we gotta make a living, okay? And when I say we gotta make a living, I don't own the local importer here in Romania. I'm just an employee, but when the company makes profit, that means I can get a salary, and I kind of want a salary because you know, food and mortgage and gas for these things, it doesn't come cheap, and Lord knows YouTube doesn't pay all that well. So yeah, my hobby needs a little bit of extra income from my job. But yeah, companies in the end have to make profit, and if you can get higher sales numbers by putting more manufacturers under the same umbrella brand that you've created an image for and you've created trust for, then yeah, why not do it? If it's a good product, that's always what I have in mind when people do this. Make sure the product is good, make sure the customer experience is good, and it's consistent throughout your products. I mean, if you have like 4 manufacturers under the, let's say, Daytona brand, 3 of them have very good parts availability, 1 of them doesn't. That means people that buy the first 3 brands or the first 3 manufacturers of the same brand will have very good experiences as owners. They will have parts available, they will get their vehicles serviced quickly. The 4th guy, he's gonna have a bad experience. The problem is, when you go online, the 3 guys that have good experiences usually have good experiences and get on with their life and don't care to write online about how good their machine is. The 4th guy that's having a bad experience will have all the motivation to tell everybody how bad his experience is. So even though you're 75% good, 25% bad, if you look online, you are 100% bad. That's the problem with the way online works. And that is my microphone coming disconnected from the GoPro because I shut my visor too hard. Yes, that actually happened, and I don't know whether to laugh about it or cry about it, but it was the end of the video anyway. So in conclusion, basically, what I'm trying to say is give Chinese manufacturers and small Asian manufacturers of motorcycles a chance, especially for the small bore stuff, because they have been doing it for 60, 70, 80 years. If you go visit Asia, you will see mainly small bore motorcycles. So they know how to make a good 125cc, a good 200cc, a good 300cc. It's their bread and butter. If you go for super bikes, yeah, okay, you might be weary of the Chinese manufacturers, but they are catching up. But if you're interested like me in small displacement motorcycles, the big manufacturers really don't care very much for small displacement motorcycles because there's not enough profit margins to be tempting for them. Even though Honda, the most successful vehicle in the history of mankind, the Honda Cub, was just a little 50cc, 70cc, 90cc, or 125cc. So the most successful vehicle ever sold in human history is no larger than a 125cc. But still, Honda is more interested in selling you Goldwings, Africa Twins, Transalps, CBRs, stuff like that. Stuff that has a lot of profit margin. But like I've said, if you're interested in small bore stuff, then look past the branding and look to the product itself. And give Asian manufacturers a chance because usually their bikes are actually quite good, cheap to run, cheap to maintain, cheap to buy, and a hell of a lot of fun. So that's kind of it for this video. Thank you all so very much for watching and for liking the videos and subscribing. If you know of any other brand badge engineering stuff, put them down in the comments below. Also, if you have any other questions about this little insight into the motorcycle industry, put them in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, take care out there, everyone, and ride safe. Bye.